I'm going to start this with a question that you can answer. Jealousy in a relationship is always bad. Is the answer to that yes or no? The right answer, as you can see, is actually no. But narcissistic jealousy is probably always a yes in terms of being a bad kind of jealousy. Narcissistic people are very jealous, like delusionally jealous. So let's break that down. What's the why on narcissistic jealousy? It's something I've talked about in the past, but it's good to have a refresher. So first, number one, there's this issue of projection, which is a defense, right? Narcissistic people are shady. Let's just start there. Why are they shady? It's sort of a byproduct of the entitlement, the low empathy, the grandiosity, the selfishness, the need for admiration, the impulsivity. Narcissistic people want what they want when they want it. So when someone shows them attention, they grab the attention. And the novelty of new attention can mean that, ooh, someone noticed me. And they start the whole texty, DM-y thing with the person from the gym, or the person at work, or the person they met on a business trip. I mean, listen, as the old saying goes, how does it go? It takes a thief to catch a thief. Well, in a way, that old proverb kind of captures projection. Not only do narcissistic people kind of, in a way, sort of assume everyone is as shady as them, to maintain their self-righteous sense that they are better than everyone, more moral, more superior, they unconsciously project their bad deeds onto other people, like their partner or spouse. And they treat you like you're shady or accuse you like you're shady. Who are you talking to? I bet you met someone there. You didn't call me back right away. Who's that person you're always texting at work? And if you are someone who knows you're doing absolutely nothing wrong, look at that projection carefully. That projection is often a sign that they're up to something. But that projection partly drives their jealousy. Number two thing that drives their jealousy is insecurity. Inside that flashy, grandiose exterior of the narcissist is a cauldron of shame and insecurity. So that means other people are chronically a threat. When you throw in the fact that narcissistic people are very rejection and abandonment sensitive, but they won't talk about those sensitivities vulnerably, but that they are brings out rage in them, there is all of this unprocessed fear that other people are better than them. They just don't have words for that. And that you're going to see that in someone else, so there's always that jealousy. That's always driving jealousy. The third thing that drives their jealousy is competitiveness, which relates to the other two things I talk about. Narcissistic people have to win. It's how they regulate. In some ways, narcissistic people love triangles, especially when they're at the center of them. But even when it's you, okay, they think it's you and someone else. There's the love triangle. Narcissistic people also love a fight. So even if you aren't doing anything, let's say you have an attractive coworker that you just work with and go home, they may feel the need, maybe if they go to a work event with you, to show off in front of that person, to show them who's boss. They have to win. But that competitiveness can drive their jealousy. Narcissistic people often maintain delusional levels of jealousy. And when we are looking at more malignant forms of narcissism, it's often part of the larger complex of isolation, things like coercive control, things like, for example, tech abuse. Again, for all of the reasons I gave, the projection, the insecurity, the competitiveness, it's often absurd. The chronic accusations, though, in these relationships become exhausting. And in some cases, you may even relent to make them shut up. Okay, sure, yes, I was standing too close to my boss. Okay, you feel better now? Or, yep, I liked that picture. I liked my cousin's picture on social media because I thought my cousin was hot. Ew. No. The intensity of the jealousy in a narcissistic relationship can make people feel and even become smaller in these relationships. You may be careful about who you mention from work, not because you're doing anything shady, but because you don't want to deal with it. You may be told by your narcissistic partner to delete people from your social media, people who matter to you. And you may ultimately just disconnect from it altogether. You may downplay your appearance. You may keep your eyes down so you can't be accused of making eye contact with someone else, which should be called flirting. Even a warm thank you to a barista or a server in a restaurant can end up in hours of accusations and arguments. Every narcissistic subtype has sort of like a different phenotype, a different version, a different presentation of jealousy. Like I already said, with the malignant folks, the jealousy, which is a frequent presence in those relationships, can be dangerous, isolating. It can be an escalating point to violence. They literally want to lock the partner away from the world. With grandiose people, which is interesting, the grandiose narcissistic folks are the ones who are most likely to cheat or at least be very inappropriate with other people. They may actually be grandiose enough and not have as much of that naggy insecurity to be super jealous. But if they're having a down day and they notice that you're the one who's getting some kind of attention, it may froth up their jealousy. Now, vulnerable narcissistic folks are probably the group that are the most prone to jealousy. This is obviously the most insecure group of narcissistic folks. They may sort of always be the sullen victim and even throw accusations at you. Like, you're always throwing yourself at people with more money than me. The self-righteous narcissistic people may frame your friendship with, I don't know, a colleague or something as your moral failing. You just need attention all the time, don't you? That may be why you dress like that. And the communal narcissistic folks, well, I suppose if people see them as saviors, they're probably going to be okay. Like the grandiose narcissists, they may have a good day. But anything that may pull attention away from that, they still have all the other insecure stuff that makes up narcissism, may still raise their jealousy hackles. And that, again, that same insecurity, that same competitiveness that may drive the other forms of narcissistic jealousy may just arise here, or the projection was a constant feature of narcissism may kick in. Now, if you have ever been in a narcissistic relationship, you have experienced their jealousy. And it can be bizarre, a very bizarre, disarming experience if in fact it's the narcissistic person who's the one who's cheating or has cheated in the past. In fact, the narcissistic person may cheat, they may leave you, they may start a new life with their affair partner and still seem to be jealous of you. And the jealousy is not just limited to intimate relationships. Narcissistic family members, parents, siblings, really anyone you're close, narcissistic person you're close to can be jealous. They may be jealous of your life, of a good thing that happened to you, of your money, of a status thing you've got, opportunities, home stuff, a trip you took. It's the same with friends, like I said, colleagues. That green-eyed monster of jealousy is sort of a chronic fellow traveler with narcissistic folks. Now, you may be wondering, though, back to the question I asked you at the top of the video, is jealousy normal? And the answer is 100% yes. It is a very universal feeling and emotion, and it often represents a threat. Evolutionarily, it might represent a threat to an intimate relationship. It might represent a threat to an attachment, which is why a little kid may feel jealous of a new sibling. It can be a threat to belonging or self-esteem, a friend having a nicer car or bike than you. In fact, some argue that healthy jealousy, especially in an intimate relationship, there's a little bit of a sign is that there's some there. There's a little bit of spark there. Like I always say to folks, you know a relationship is fading quite a bit, and may even kind of be done when you feel absolutely no more jealousy. And you may even feel like, oh, please, if you're flirting with them, just get this damn person off my hands. They're yours. Probably you're done. So a healthy jealousy may spur us into action to say, okay, I am going to pay a little bit more attention. May remind us that our healthy partner is someone we value and that we don't want to lose. And jealousy gets its power when we don't admit to it. And certainly when the more insecure the well, the more problematic the jealousy becomes. But when we say, yeah, I'm jealous of my friend. I'm jealous of her lifestyle and the resources she has. It kind of helps it lose its power within us. When we can put name to it, makes us less likely to say something unkind, and we just own it. And we may lean into just having a nice time with our friend with all that money, right? Everyone gets jealous. It happens. It's the ego talking, and it's normal. And if someone out there says, I never get jealous, I don't think so. And I would definitely be wondering about why all that self-righteous hooey is even coming out of them. We all get jealous. It may even be as simple as being jealous of the person who's ahead of us in line at a restaurant on a day we're hungry, or the person who grabbed the great spot under a shady tree on a hot day. Someone who simply has what we want and we don't. It is human nature, it is normal, and it is not always insecurity or projection. Insecurity, though, can really take that healthy jealousy and distort it into a problem. Jealousy takes on a controlling, distorted, gaslighty, heavy, frustrating, angering, I'd even say even threatening tone in a narcissistic relationship, though. I understand. It can be kind of flattering to have a partner be a little bit jealous, a little annoyed or anxious that you were talking to someone for so long. It may feel like they still notice. However, it is not flattering to be accused of being dishonest or having a secret life when it's not true, for your character to be impugned, especially when the other person's behavior, the narcissistic person's behavior is an issue and the relationship doesn't feel safe or balanced or respectful. About 100% of people in narcissistic relationships will say that at least one time in the relationship, jealousy was a significant theme in the relationship, if not chronically. It may have initially felt flattering and then turned dark pretty quickly. Healthy jealousy is a universal emotion. It's just the nature of human beings and how we are. But what happens in a narcissistic relationship is a different experience of jealousy. And unfortunately, it can take us a minute to figure out that this isn't just a flattering, I'd hate to lose you jealousy, but something a lot more sinister that reflects a lot more about them than you. Thanks again.